Welcome to DINOvember. I'm Richard Rempel, and today we're going to talk about End of an Era by Robert J. Sawyer, copyright 1994, and another copyright in 2001 for some revisions. Before I talk about this book, though, I want to remind you of a story that I read in the science fictional Dinosaurs, edited by Robert Silverberg. The story itself was by Robert F. Young, and it was called When Time Was New. It was a story of time travel, of a ship being brought back to the Mesozoic age when the dinosaurs were on what would have been their last years. In this story, there's not only time travel, dinosaurs, the mystery of why the dinosaurs disappeared, but, and this is a light spoiler, but it's something I'm going to talk about today, there were Martians. So, that reminded me a lot about this book, and I started to wonder if it had been partially an inspiration for this one. Let me read from the back of the book blurb to start. Paleontologist Brandon Thackeray is eager to find out what killed the dinosaurs. With a newly developed, still experimental time ship, he will be able to do what no human being has ever done: stand face to face with the living giants of the Mesozoic. But he and his partner and rival, Miles Clicks Jordan, discover that they are not the only intelligent creatures on Earth at the end of the Cretaceous. There's a war going on, and the dinosaurs are right in the middle of it. This is an early novel from Robert J. Sawyer. In fact, it reads to me like perhaps it may have been his earliest novel, even though it came out after The Golden Fleece. Golden Fleece was published in 1990. Then we have The Quintaglio Ascension, a trilogy. Farseer in 1992, Fossil Hunter in 1993, and Foreigner in 1994, the same year as End of an Era was published. But to me, End of an Era reads like an earlier work. The author seems to be much more assured in the Quintaglio Ascension trilogy. End of an Era is a short, fast-paced novel. We have this time ship that's going back in time. Scientist Brandon is teamed up with Miles, whose nickname is Clicks. Miles, kilometers, nicknames Clicks. Anyway, they're rivals, not just in perhaps what they should do in decision making. There is a bit of a rivalry there, but the reason is they're emotional rivals. Brandon's ex-wife now is with Miles. It seemed a bit preposterous that these two would be teamed up on the first time ship that was going to go back to discover why the dinosaurs had disappeared. But there they are, together. We have a lot of great dinosaur moments in this novel. There is end-to-end dinosaurs once we get back in time, and that happens pretty quickly. Brandon and Miles' backstory comes out during the time that they are there. But there's more than just dinosaurs here. There's aliens. And as I mentioned before, these aliens are Martians. And these are not like Martians you may have seen before. They're the kind of Martians that can take over a dinosaur, that they can direct, ride with a dinosaur. Imagine dinosaurs as weapons, different factions fighting against each other. Add to that an imaginative, somewhat implausible idea of why the dinosaurs eventually died out. Now, I say it's implausible. I mean, this novel is just fun. It's not really there to try to bring across a lot of scientific ideas. It's there to use the tropes, the science fiction of the past, and weave them together in a very entertaining story. I find it fun to see how Robert J. Sawyer develops in his writing. And as I said, I suspect this was written very soon after, or perhaps even before, The Golden Fleece, his first published novel. And as you'll see in my next video, Farseer really shows a lot of development, in my opinion, in his writing and his plotting, and it is a far superior novel in many ways. But this one, as I said, was fun. So this was a really good popcorn read in my mind. It is a bit contrived. It weaves together a lot of things in a short novel, and the ideas are entertaining, if implausible. I would recommend it. I think 7 out of 10 is a fair score for this one. So, have you read End of an Era? What are your thoughts? What about other Robert J. Sawyer novels? I'd love to hear what you think. Until next time, watch for dinosaurs and keep reading.